everyone, Kylie back with you today, otherwise known as Paper Sweetpea, and I'm an independent creative memories advisor from Australia. Super excited because today is another Scrap With Me ×3 video. Unfortunately, Noreen is unable to be here with us again, so it's just Lauren and I. But we are going to be working with the brand new Vivid Melodies collection from Creative Memories. If you haven't had a chance to check it out on the website as yet, I highly recommend that you do so. It's truly stunning. And since it's nearly springtime here in Australia, I think it's a perfect collection for scrapbooking all of your fun spring memories. As always, you'll be able to head to each of our individual websites after today's video, where you will be able to purchase and download the PDF instructions for today's layout. I've actually also included a sketch in my instructions today, which again feature your colour photos and step-by-step instructions and all the measurements that I've used today for my layout. Don't forget to head over to Lauren's YouTube channel and watch her video as well to see the beautiful layout that she's created for you all. I'm going to pop all the links to everything below this video for you all to check out. Remember that I am here live with you all today, so feel free to say hi and ask me any questions in the chat box. Let's keep that rolling. But for now, let's get started. For today's video, we're going to be working with the new Vivid Melodies collection from Creative Memories. Now, if you haven't had a chance to jump on the website and check out this collection, there's actually 4 different colorway paths within this collection. You have Jazzberry, which is this lovely pink, and you have Lime Tart, which is the green. Then there's also Butterscotch and Capri Blue. For my layout today, I really wanted to combine just the Jazzberry and the Lime Tart, so the pink and green. But we also wanted to share unique ways that you can use the laser cut embellishments that come with each colorway. Now, I've just got the back of the packaging here to show you. There's obviously a lot more than what's shown on the back of the packaging, but you can see each colorway just has a unique range of embellishments and decorative borders and frames to each packet. So we just want to share with you unique ways that you can work with those. In my layout today, I'm also going to be working with the Teardrop Lattice Decorative Border Punch, as well as the Ribbon Lace Chain Border Maker Cartridge. Now, both of these products were recently available for the tool buffet that Creative Memories had, and since I haven't worked with those as yet, I really wanted to have a play with them today. I'll share with you the layout that we're going to create together. Now, as I said, I'm combining both the Lime Tart and the Jazzberry, and it's a 2-page design that I've created for you all today. And you can see here, this is where I've included my laser cut embellishments with the frames, as well as the little die cuts, and it features a fun little decorative border. So you're going to need obviously your designer papers, but I've also worked with some white cardstock. You'll need probably about 2, maybe 2.5 sheets of white cardstock if you choose to make the photo mats from white cardstock as I have done. But for now, let's get started. Okay, now for my background, I do really want to have a layered frame effect. Now, when you're working with colourful palettes, such as we are with the Vivid Melodies collection, I quite often like to include a bit of white cardstock just to break the colour tones so it's not, you know, too much. We want the hero of our pages to be the photos, so we don't want to, you know, have so much colour that it's so busy you don't know where to look. So I'm actually just going to add the white cardstock. It's a little bit of a circuit breaker, so you could say, and I just want to have, you know, just a very fine border to separate my pink and green tones here. Now, I certainly don't want to waste any paper, so I am going to remove the center from both the base page as well as my white cardstock so that we can conserve some paper. And I've explained this many times before, but in case you're not aware of the Creative Memories 12-inch trimmer board, You can see on the side of the blade housing unit here that we've got this little marking, and the distance from the top of this housing unit to this line is exactly 1 inch. Okay, so I want to leave a 1 inch border on this green paper, so I'm just going to align the side of my paper to 1 inch, and I'm going to bring down the blade housing bracket just so the top of it is aligned with the top of my paper, and I know that this space at the top is going to be 1 inch. The blade won't start cutting until I push down. You push down, and I'm going to stop when the bottom of that blade housing bracket reaches the bottom of my paper, like so. Effectively what that has done is we've made a 1 inch wide cut down this side, and it's leaving both ends open so that we can rotate our paper and just continue this all the way around. And I'll just show you. I know that I can align the side of my trimmer board to where I've cut with that line. Very easy to do. When I push down, it will start to cut, and I'll stop again at the base. And I'm just going to keep rotating until we've cut that frame all the way around. Like so, and we can remove the center, and this can now be used for something else. We're conserving that paper. So we have our frame. I'm going to bring in my white cardstock, and I need to trim this down to 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches. So we're just going to be trimming a little bit off our cardstock. Like so. So now I just want to do exactly the same as what I did with my green designer paper, and that's to remove the center from my white cardstock so that I'm left again with a 1 inch wide frame. And because we've cut our cardstock down to 11.5 inches by 11.5, it will be slightly smaller in size so that we can layer that over the green. And once you're happy with the position of that white frame, you can go ahead with your repositionable tape or your double-sided tape and just get that down into place. I'm going to bring in my pink paper now, and I'm going to trim this piece of paper down to 11 inches by 11 inches. Don't throw away these little strips because these would be perfect used on a border on another project. So that's 11 inches by 11 inches, and we're going to layer that over the top of our frame. And by just having that little bit of a white border, it just, as I said, it just breaks the color a little bit. It gives it a lovely layered effect to your page. Now, as you can see, I've gone ahead and prepared my second background paper with the exact same techniques I used for the first. I'm just going to set them aside just for the moment. And I'm going to bring in another sheet of paper from the Lime Tart paper pack. And from this, I just want to trim 2 strips of paper, and I want them each to measure 5 inches by 10 inches. So I've got 2 at 5 inch, and then we want it to be 10 inches in length. Again, save all these little scraps of paper. They make excellent little tags or banners for another project. I like getting the most that I can from my paper packs. Okay, so we're going to add this green here towards the center of our 2-page spread, and you want to leave probably a good 1/4 inch border of each of our 3 layers here. So you're going to see a little bit of the pink, a little of the white, and a little of the green. So you just want them evenly spaced. And you want to make sure that you've got a good inch to the top of your page and a good inch to the bottom of your page. And we can adhere those down into place. Alright, so that's about all the preparation work I want to do for my background now. I'm actually going to create some borders, and then we can talk about bringing in our photos to our design. Okay, so the next step in our layout process is to create this fun layered border. So I've actually got 3 contrasting papers for this border plus the white cardstock. So I've got the brighter pink and darker green on the outer edges, with that beautiful bubblegum pink up the center, and of course the white cardstock. So just nice and easy, we need to punch 2 strips with our ribbon lace chain border maker cartridge. So if we bring in our original border maker system and load our paper into the bracket, and just very simply punch 2 strips away. I've got lots of confetti happening now. All right, so next I'm just going to bring in this beautiful bubblegum pink paper that I was telling you about, and I need to trim a 1.75 wide strip from our 12 by 12 designer paper, like so. Okay, so I'm just going to put my scallop blade into the housing unit there, and I want to trim a 3/4 of an inch wide strip. So I'm just going to line it up again. We want the rounded side, of course, showing. So there are 2 strips of the green cut. And I'm just going to bring in my white cardstock, and with my teardrop lattice punch, I'm just going to, you can see at the front of the punch there, we've got this nice little line marked up. So that's where I'm going to start punching from, just align the edge of my cardstock and punch. So I'm just going to align this pattern to the side of my border punch and punch. Now I find what helps with this, it's very easy sometimes to not be able to punch continually through. You can sort of miss a section. So what I find helps is when you feed it into your punch, if you slide probably 2 of these little loops back in underneath the punch as a guide, and you should get a continual punch line, like so. Okay, so we've got all of our elements. I'll get rid of all this confetti. So now that we have everything cut and everything punched for our border, we can bring it all together. And I'll start by just adhering our white strip down the center of our pink to begin with, like so. And then with our green strips. I'm just going to run some repositionable tape along there, and you just want to see the very top of that scallop, so probably not even 1/4 of an inch, just the very top of that showing above the pink. And I can use my first border that I made as a guide to make sure that I've got that nice and even, which I have. And we can add the second strip. Like so. Let's check that I've got them all nice and lovely and even. Alright, so now we want to add our little ribbon lace chain just in behind, and you can see by my first border here, we can really just see the very frilly edge of that showing behind the border. So to adhere these, I'm actually using my little tape chips. I just find that for little intricate details like this, it's much easier to use these little tape chips. And really, I just want to, I'll bring it up close to the camera. You can just see the bottom of this little shape here, the pointy end. I want to align the top of my border when I'm sticking this in place, just with the base of that little pointy end there. Once you're happy with where that is in place, and you can just take one of your little tape chips and just stick that down, and then that way it'll hold it in place for you while you're making sure everything's nice and even as you go along, which it is. Just to stick that into place. And you can just see we've just got our, oh, I'm a little bit crooked there, that's okay, it'll peel off. We've just got that little scalloped edge showing in behind, and I'm just going to do exactly the same for this other piece. So again, I'm just aligning the top of my border with the bottom of that pointy section that I showed you from that punched out strip. When you've got it all nicely in place, just hold it down with some of your little tape chips, which are very handy. Like so, and we'll have 2 borders for our pages. Okay, so I've brought in my background pages, and we want to adhere these border strips 2 1/4 inches up from the bottom. You can peel the backing off those tape chips if you wish. You don't have to, because I'm going to use a bit of my repositionable tape. And because we've kept the width of these borders 12 inches wide, it is going to overlap our little layered edges here. So we can get these into place on both pages. So, all right, so it's time for us to start talking photos. And I've got the left side of my layout here, and I've actually mixed up the sizing of my photos for this layout. Usually I keep things fairly unison in size, but for a bit of fun, I've actually just mixed up the sizing of my photos. Now, I have included all of the sizing for the photo mats as well as the photos I have used in my PDF guide that is on my website. But of course, you know, you can use whatever size photos you like. But if you wanted to keep it the same as what mine are, they are listed in the PDF guide. So I've got a larger photo here. The photo mat is 6 inches by 4 inches. So I have trimmed the photo down to 5.75 by 3.75. I've got a photo mat here that is 4x4. So the photo has been trimmed down to 3.75 by 3.75. And my smallest photo, the mat is 4 inches by 3 inches. And so I've trimmed the photo to 3.75 by 2.75. Again, that's going to be really hard to remember, I know, but it is in my PDF guide. Now, getting back to the photo mats, you'll see that I've actually just used white cardstock. And the reason, again, that I've done this is I just wanted to keep it fairly well soft and pastel, because once I add in lots of the embellishments, that's of course going to add even more color to my page. My photos are very colorful, so I just wanted to, you know, still keep that little bit of a soft edge around my photos, just to break up all of that color. Now, that beautiful laser cut floral piece that I loved, I've gone ahead and I've cut that in half lengthways with my scissors. The reason that I've done that is you're only going to see half behind my photo. And, you know, I just didn't want to waste it. It's so beautiful. I can use it the same way on another project if I like. So that's why I've cut mine in half, just to simply be able to get a little bit more out of that. And just from the Jazzberry embellishment pack, I've got this really cute title that I think I'll add to the bottom here, You and Me. And then I just want to bring in a few other elements from those embellishment packs, some of the floral elements. So we'll go ahead and we can get these adhered in place. And I'm just going to use my repositionable tape runner for this laser cut border strip. And I've used my scissors just because I didn't want to dull my blade. I've only just replaced the blade in my 12-inch trimmer, and I just didn't want to dull it too quick by cutting through the laser cut strip, because they are a little bit thicker, of course, than your papers, etc. So we can add that into place, that first photo. You can see we've just got that lovely fan effect, and it's a perfect size for a 6x4 photo mat and photo. And then we can layer our second photo. Always brings the page to life once you add your photos to your pages. I'm going to add that one square on there. And then we've got our little guy down the bottom here, which I'm going to layer like so. I'll actually go a little bit more that way. Yes. And then we can add our little title down the base here. That'll fit perfectly into that green strip that we added. Okay, so bring in my little embellishment tray. I've just opened up both the green, the lime tart green and the Jazzberry embellishments. I've got a few here that I really love. Got the hearts, and I could add, how cool are these? I like succulents, they're beautiful. Could tuck that in behind. I don't want to go too overboard. So we can adhere that into place here. And I'm going to use some of my foam squares to layer the hearts over the top, just to add a bit of dimension to my page. Good old foam squares. Got our hearts. And I'm thinking maybe we need a nice little bit of a leaf there in behind. So if I just lift that a little, we could slot that in, yes, just behind there. And I've got a cute little subtitle here that I love. And we might just add that over the top of the hearts. So, all right, so I've brought in our second page, our right side page, and I've got some more photos that I've already matted for this page, and these are different sizes again. I've got two mats at 5 by 3.5, so I've trimmed the photos down to 4.75 by 3.25, and then I've got another 4 by 4 mat for this photo with a 3.75 by 3.75 photo. And I thought it would be really cool. I really love this circular frame from the Lime Tart embellishment pack. So what I think I'm going to do, I had this photo with a good distance around my subject matter. I thought I would cut the photo down to be circular and to just sit in behind this frame. I thought it would look really sweet to the top area of my page there. So to do so, I'm just going to lift that aside. And this is the clear template guide that comes with our custom cutting templates. So for our circles. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this over my photo to see what size is going to work best for both the frame and cutting the photo. So just using the guide to line up my subject matter on the photo and then to see if that's going to work in behind my laser cut frame. And I think I'm going to use my largest circle template, and I'm going to use the red blade on the inside track, because looking at that on my photo and then sizing it over my frame, I think that's going to be the best size. So I'll bring in my template, and you just want to, as best you can, get your subject matter in the center of your circle. And if you want to check again that you've got it in the right position, then you can just sit your template guide again over the top of your cutting template and to just make sure that you've got your photo in the right place. And I can probably shuffle mine a little more to the right. There we go. And I'm going to bring in my red blade and just cut on the inside track with my red blade, making sure that I've got that in to the tracks nice and snug. I'm using that to cut my photo. So now when I place my frame over the top, because I've already, used my template guide as reference, I know that my photo is going to be the perfect size, and it's just a matter of working your subject matter around to how you would like that to sit. So I'll bring back in my page and we can start to stick all these photos into place, and it's good to have both pages together just so that you can reference what's going where, keep a nice even balance for your page. We might do that one last. So we'll have our little frame here, which we can add some blooms to. And that's looking nice. All right, so we can adhere these down. As I've said, I'm normally very uniform in my photo sizing, but I thought it would be fun to mix things up a little bit today and just to have some different photo sizes scattered across our page. Our 4x4. So I'm actually going to adhere my photo down first, making sure that I've got it roughly centered on that open space that we have. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of repositional tape to the back of that frame. And then it's just a matter of positioning that where you're going to be happy with your photo. Like so. And then I want to come in with some of these little blooms to the side and layer that over our sweet little frame. And again, now that you can see all of this colour being applied to my page, you can probably see why I've included that little bit of white cardstock in the frame, the photo mats and my border, because it just breaks it up just that little bit. Tuck in some little delicate leaves. And there's always room for more flowers. And then I think I'm going to add just another little subtitle phrase there. Okay, so if you like to add journaling to your layouts, you could of course add a little bit down here to the bottom left hand corner, or you've also got some space here below this photo down here. You could add some little tags or journal cards if you like, but that pretty well completes both pages together. So there we have it, friends. That completes another Scrap With Me ×3 session. I hope you've enjoyed following along, watching me create today. Don't forget, if you are in Australia and you are interested in any of the Creative Memories products that you've seen in this video or have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me through any of the links I've popped below. There's also a direct link to my Creative Memories Australia website. And likewise, if you are in Canada or the US, you can follow Noreen's and Lauren's links as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you next time. Take care. Bye.